Hi everyone, welcome to my video. Today I am talking about why your inner child has all of the answers. And before I get into that, I'm just going to quickly give you an overview of what the inner child actually means and what it is, because I think there's a lot of confusion about that and people get the wrong idea. The inner child, in essence, is a term that the world's best psychologists use to help their clients connect with a part of them that is innocent, that is fearless, and that pretty much is open and receptive to anything. Now, that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. And the inner child can be used in so many different ways through many different scenarios to get the results that we're wanting. Now, the inner child is not a physical part of us, like, a small inner child that lives and breathes within us. It is a part of our psyche that has kind of been frozen. When we're young, we, right from birth, are exposed to so much information and we are learning all the time. You think about from birth to now, all the information that we've taken in, all the things that we've been exposed to. And the first 7 years of our lives are the most important in terms of the way in which our mind develops and understands the world. And when we have a negative experience, which we all have during those first 7 years, and it can be anything from, no, you can't have that sweet, or you can't have that toy, to, maybe our parents getting divorced or something worse than that. There's all different, obviously, points on the spectrum from, good to bad. But point is that we've all been children and we've all had negative experiences. So there's a part of our psyche that will lock. And because it's experiencing negative emotion that it's not experienced before, it will come to the conclusion of, well, I don't have the answer. I don't quite understand what's happening here, which means that there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me because the mind is designed to find the answer. It's designed to come up with a solution. And when it can't do that, it straight away thinks, okay, there's something wrong here with me because there's nothing around me that's telling me that there's something else that's wrong. And as we get older, that part of our mind that is locked and it's frozen, when we have a similar negative experience or emotion, our thoughts and our feelings will be processed through that part of the psyche. And it causes us to react in a similar way to what we would have when we were a child, but in an adult form. So that is the inner child, okay? That is the part of us that is still vulnerable, that's still innocent, that's not quite sure what to do. But that can be a good thing as well, because it can mean it's the part of us that's playful and that's fearless and that's creative and that wants to explore and discover and find new ways of doing things. Right? And if you want to see how all of this fits together with the inner child, negative versus positive, then please do check out my other video that I did not too long ago, and that will help you to understand how your inner child can perhaps be blocking your progress. So I'll leave the link below in case that's something that you would like to look at. Now, anyway, back to today's video. Today's video, why your inner child has all of the answers. Well, let's look at it like this. Imagine for a moment that you were able to make decisions on a daily basis, big or small ones, and make those decisions from a place of clarity and from a place of peace and love and harmony, knowing that they were the right decisions and trusting that your judgment, your perception of the situation was on board and correct. Think about what it would feel like to trust yourself, to trust your own opinion, to trust and stand by the conclusions that you were coming to, and being able to have a relationship with yourself that affirmed how capable you were of finding the right answers, not just any answer, but finding the right ones. And imagine what it would feel like to, once you've made those decisions, to be able to stand by them with complete conviction, regardless of what anyone else said, regardless if people told you that you weren't making the right decision or that you were wrong in some way and that you needed to reconsider. Being able to turn around to them in an empowered way and say, actually, no, this is the right decision for me and I stand by that. What kind of impact do you think that would have on your reality right now, today? What kind of future do you think that that would create for you, knowing that you were going in the right direction because you just felt that and you knew that within, despite the opinion of others? So what I've done is I have, after much research and personal experience of my own, I have introduced the whole scientific analogy and concept of the inner child, and I've introduced it to the law of attraction, the principle and the spiritual idea that we attract what we are and that we can use unseen powers to help us and guide us and assist us. And from my own personal experiences, introducing these two philosophies together has mind-blowing results and can actually speed up the process of finding these answers from a psychological perspective and from a spiritual one as well, where you're being guided to the right answers and receiving all the signs that you need in order to come to those conclusions that are right for you. The truth is that we spend so much of our time and energy doubting ourselves. We will be constantly thinking, did I make the right decision there? Have I done the right thing? Should I have said that or shouldn't I? And not only do we spend so much time worrying about all of these decisions that we're making, the actions that we're taking, but we spend so much time allowing ourselves to be influenced by others. We go to other people and we say, what do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think I should do about that? And when other people give us their opinion and their take on the situation, we tend to trust their opinion more than we do our own. And the reason for that is because we don't like to stand out. We don't like to appear to be different. We want to, go along with the flow, and we want to fit in with everyone else and have that approval and that validation. So what's really sad is that other people's opinions, even if they're not quite the right ones or they don't feel right, we still follow their opinion. It's that perception that always seems to dominate. And despite there being maybe a tiny part of us, that intuition, that little inner voice that's saying, don't do that, we tend to ignore it and we shut it off and we go, no, it just makes more sense if I do that instead, because that's what so-and-so did next door, or that's what my mum did, or that's what my best friend done. So, we always end up making decisions in one way or another that aren't of our best interests and can sometimes lead us down a path that makes us more miserable than what we were to begin with. And then we find ourselves in even more of a state, and it creates more chaos and confusion and stress in our lives. And the best way to remove that inner conflict and push that inner battle that we're constantly having all the time is to have a decision that, we're sort of thinking about, put it in front of us, literally, and you can do this by journaling, you can do it just by spending some time by yourself and really thinking about it. And just spend some time connecting with your inner child and really thinking, okay, what emotion does this bring up in me? What decisions are open to me here? Could I take this route or could I take that route? What's the good side of this and what's the bad side? What impact is this having on me right now? How do I feel when I go through all of my options and when I think about them? And you can, like I said, you can put this on paper, or it's just a mental exercise that you can perhaps do. And just spend some time really going through every possibility without doing anything, without talking to anyone, without taking any action. just spend some time with that potential decision and really feel into it. Feel your way around the entire situation and all the possibilities that come to your mind in terms of potential ideas, solutions, decisions that you can make. And that's it. That is such a very basic, simple thing to do, but it's something that not many of us do. We never really take the time to stop and think. We're always quick to ask other people. We're always very quick to just go along with whatever anyone else is saying and doing. Spend some time on your own and really feel into those possible solutions. And I'm going to tell you a quick story which demonstrates this perfectly. So a few years ago, I was living in London. I was a business development manager for a beautiful country house hotel, and I had a good job. I travelled all around the country. I got paid to go to different clients and meet people, go to networking events and do various exhibitions and so on. And by most people's standards, I had a very good job. I had a great income. I owned my own property in London and I was doing very well. But I wasn't happy. I didn't like my job, and I had at that point thrown myself into personal development, and I was quite spiritual at that stage. I'd adopted my own spiritual practice. I was meditating, I was journaling, and I decided to become a life coach. That is another story in itself of how I came to that conclusion and the guidance that I received in terms of deciding that that was what I wanted to do next. I decided to become a life coach. I decided that I wanted to help people through my own negative experiences and help them to transform their own lives. Now, I live in England, and in this country, personal development, mindfulness, well-being, it's not really heard of. It's something that people are now kind of becoming more familiar with, but it's not, life coaching is not a very well-known profession. It's not a regulated profession in this country. So when I told my parents, you can imagine the response that I got when I said I'm going to start up my own online coaching practice. My family, my friends, my colleagues that I was working with at the time, they all looked at me and were like, "You're going to do what? Like, seriously? That's just, do you really want to do that? What? Why?" They didn't understand it. And there was, for a period of time, this challenge that I had, this conflict that was making me feel like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I don't know what to do, because everyone around me is saying, it sounds like a bit of a stupid idea, and that was the impression that I was getting. And they were saying, you've got a good job, why rock the boat? What is this coaching like you want to be doing? What if it doesn't work? So they were planting all these doubts in my mind and making me question my own judgment. Yet there was this part of me, my inner child, that was really excited by the idea and loved the idea of being able to get up every day and be my own boss and not have to go to meetings and do networking events that I really didn't want to be doing, and just being able to be creative and come up with my own ideas, my own solutions to people's problems, and really connect with people in a way that I never had before through my own personal stories and my own negative experiences, writing, doing videos like I'm doing right now, just being free to allow that innovative part of me to come to life. That excited me in a way that none of the other ideas, none of the other solutions that people were saying, well, why don't you try this, or why don't you do that instead? Why don't you apply to another hotel? Why don't you, try a different avenue or industry in terms of being a business development manager? All these ideas that I was getting and I was thinking about didn't excite me in the same way that being a life coach did. Really giving my all to personal development. That rang my bells. That got me going. Yet it was the one idea and the one answer that no one else was on board with except me. And I felt that. I really, truly felt it with every cell in my being. I knew it was the right answer. And the rest is history, because I went along with it, despite the fear and the doubt and the worry and other people going, I don't know about that. I ignored them and I went with it. And here I am now today, doing what I love on a full-time basis and making money out of it, making good money, and having the freedom to travel and live by my own rules and be my own boss. My time is my own. When I wake up in the morning, I'm able to do what I want to do and decide how my day will unfold. That to me is priceless. So when I took that chance, what happened is, as soon as I thought I'm going to take that leap of faith and trust my inner child, my intuition, what do you think happened? The universe, signs and synchronicities, opportunities, people, money, started to present themselves to me in ways that showed me I was making the right decision, that affirmed to me that the decision that I had made was the right one for me. And I cannot tell you how all the fear and the worry, all the crap that I'd been worried about previously, all the doubts that other people had tried to project onto me, all of that got swept away in an instant when I trusted and I allowed my decision to build and grow momentum, and I started to take action that I felt inspired to take. And you see, that's what happens when we waste time looking high and low, left and right, asking everyone else, the world and its wife, about what decisions we should be making, when we're trying to find all of those answers outside of ourselves. We end up in riddles. We end up going on a wild goose chase that leaves us feeling even more exasperated and confused and frustrated. But when you start to listen to that inner child within you, the fearless part of you that already knows exactly what it wants and doesn't need anyone else's opinion, that pathway, the answers, the guidance, the solutions, the breakthroughs, they all start to reveal themselves to you. You don't need to go looking and stressing out about what the next thing is to do and how to do it. The path seamlessly unfolds and it presents itself to you. And that is the beauty of connecting with your inner child and really hearing your inner child and the answers that your inner child is trying to bring forth to you. And if you would like to understand more about how this works, how working with your inner child to find the answers that are right for you and combining that with the loving guidance from the universe and a higher power, then click the link below, because it will show you how you can apply a specific process to speeding up the results and speeding up all of the answers that you are searching for right now. Thank you very much for watching my video. Take care, and I will speak with you very soon.